The shuttle hummed softly as it cut through the blue haze of the alien sky. Inside, a young human boy named Eli Carter pressed his face to the window, eyes wide with wonder. He was only 12, but already the galaxy felt like a giant playground of strange worlds and glowing creatures. Eli's brown hair floated slightly in the low-gravity cabin, and his breath fogged the glass as he whispered, "We're really going there, huh? The Great Galactic Zoo." Across from him sat his teacher, Professor Vikar, a tall, four-armed alien with scales that shimmered like green metal. His large eyes blinked twice before answering in his deep, calm voice, "Yes, young Eli. The greatest zoo in all the spiral arm. A place where beings from over 500 worlds come to see the wonders of nature. You should be honored," Eli smiled. "I'm just excited to see if they have anything from Earth." Vikar's expression shifted slightly, a mix of curiosity and fear. "Ah, yes. There is one new exhibit from your homeworld," he said slowly, "but it is not for the faint-hearted. The curators call it the Deathworld Predator exhibit." Eli blinked. "Deathworld? That sounds scary," the professor nodded. "Earth is known as one of the most dangerous worlds in the galaxy, a place where even the smallest creatures can kill. Few alien scientists have survived its jungles." Eli frowned. "That's not true. We have squirrels, puppies, birds, deadly," Vakar interrupted. "All deadly in their own way." The boy laughed softly, thinking his teacher was joking. But the professor didn't smile. The shuttle descended through the silver clouds and the alien zoo came into view, a massive dome of glass and metal stretching for miles across the planet's surface. Bright banners hovered in the air, showing creatures that looked like dragons, living trees, and glowing fish that swam through open air. Crowds of aliens were already gathered at the entrance, their many-colored skin and shapes creating a living rainbow. Some walked, some floated, and some crawled, all excited for the newest exhibit. Eli stepped off the ramp with his classmates, his small backpack bouncing against his shoulders. He was the only human among them, a curious guest from Earth attending an intergalactic school. Most of the alien kids liked him, but some whispered strange things whenever he passed. "Look, that's the Deathworld kid," one of the purple-skinned students whispered. "Don't make eye contact," said another. "They say humans can control animals with their minds." Eli heard them and sighed. He was used to it by now. Every alien he met thought humans were half monsters, half miracles. Inside the zoo, lights shimmered and holograms danced in the air. The walls whispered information about every creature as the group passed by. "Here we have the Glekar beast," Vikar said, gesturing to a massive glass pen where a creature like a walking mountain slept, capable of crushing a starship with its jaws. The alien students gasped and took photos. Eli just shrugged. "Looks like a hippo," he muttered. They passed through sections filled with flying worms, crystal serpents, and creatures that could vanish into smoke. Each one was stranger than the last, but none of them scared Eli. He had grown up watching nature documentaries with his dad. He'd seen worse, or at least weirder. Then they reached the end of the hall. A huge metal gate stood before them, marked with red lights and warning signs in dozens of languages. "Caution, Deathworld Predator exhibit. Entry at your own risk." Professor Vikar's voice grew serious. "Stay close, children. The curator will speak to us shortly. Do not touch the glass and do not make sudden movements." Eli's curiosity sparked. "What's in there?" Vikar didn't answer. He just adjusted his cloak and stared straight ahead. The gates hissed open with a slow, heavy sound. Cold air rushed out, dry, sterile, and filled with a faint scent Eli recognized but couldn't place. Inside, the lighting was dim. Rows of transparent cages stretched along the walls, each one labeled with alien symbols. Crowds had already gathered behind safety barriers, their eyes wide, their translator devices whispering fear-filled words. Eli squinted into the nearest cage. "Wait," he said softly. "Is that a cat?" Sitting calmly behind the glass was a small, fluffy creature. Its tail flicked lazily and its green eyes glowed faintly under the light. Eli laughed out loud. "You've got to be kidding me." "That's a housecat." The aliens around him flinched at the sound of his laugh. One hissed. Another whispered, "He mocks the predator." The boy looked around, confused. "Predator? It's just a cat. They sleep all day." Professor Vakar's tone was grave. "Do not underestimate it, Eli Carter. Those are the apex predators of your world." Eli blinked. You mean cats? Like the ones that chase laser pointers? The professor nodded slowly. Precisely. Eli turned back to the cage. The cat was watching him now, eyes half closed but unblinking. Its tail moved side to side, slow and deliberate. The alien crowd whispered. Some bowed their heads. Others held up cameras from a safe distance. Eli pressed his hand to the glass. "Hey, buddy," he whispered. "You're famous out here, huh?" The cat blinked once, and the zoo lights flickered. For a brief second, every display screen in the hall glowed white. A strange hum filled the air like static or purring, and then silence. When the lights returned, the cat had moved. It was sitting right in front of Eli's hand now, staring directly at him. Professor Vakar's voice trembled. "Back away, child, slowly," Eli smiled. "It's okay. It's just a cat." But deep down, for the first time that day, he wasn't so sure. The silence in the Deathworld exhibit felt heavier than before. The lights buzzed softly above, and every alien eye was fixed on the small boy standing near the glass. Eli Carter, still staring at the cat, tilted his head and smiled. "See, it's harmless," he said, voice calm. "You guys act like it's some kind of monster." Behind him, Professor Vakar's voice trembled. "Do not provoke it, Eli. Please, step back." Eli looked at the professor, confused. "Provoke it? It's just sitting there. It probably wants food or a nap." The aliens in the group whispered nervously. One of them, a small green creature with 6 eyes, leaned toward another and whispered, "He speaks to it directly. He fears nothing." Another whispered, "Maybe humans can't sense danger. That's why they survived on Earth." Eli sighed. "You guys make it sound like we live in a horror movie." The cat yawned lazily, stretched its paws, and licked its fur. But the alien visitors gasped as if it had drawn a weapon. "Did you see that?" one hissed. "It is cleaning its claws." Eli laughed out loud. "That's called grooming. My grandma's cat does it all the time." The sound of his laughter echoed around the glass chamber, sharp and strange among the whispers. Even the cat paused, tilting its head as if amused. A deep voice came from behind them. "Young human," it said. "You must understand. This creature is not what it seems." Eli turned to see a tall alien in a dark silver coat. His skin was pale blue and his black eyes had no pupils. A glowing tag on his chest read, "Curator Dravon, Keeper of Deathworld Specimens." Dravon's voice was calm but heavy. "That animal may appear peaceful, but it hides the instincts of a killer. Our research teams lost 3 scouts trying to capture just one." Eli blinked. 3 scouts? To a house cat? The curator nodded slowly. They underestimated it. The creature attacked without warning. Claws like knives, eyes that glow in the dark. It moves without sound, Eli grinned. "You mean it scratched them?" Dravon frowned. "One scout still claims he sees it in his dreams. The cat stalks him there, waiting." The boy's grin faded. "Okay, that's creepy." The alien students huddled together, whispering. One, a small reptilian girl named Zira, looked at Eli with wide golden eyes. "Is it true, human boy? Do your kind live with these beasts?" Eli nodded proudly. "Yeah, pretty much every family on Earth has one. We keep them as pets," the aliens gasped. "You live among predators?" Zira said. Eli chuckled. "They're not predators. They just like milk and sleeping in warm spots." Faker shook his head. "The galaxy still wonders how humanity tamed such dangerous life forms." "Tamed?" Eli said, smirking. "They don't listen to us. We just feed them. They do whatever they want." There was a pause. The aliens all looked at one another. Then one whispered, "So, the humans serve them." The idea spread through the group like a wave. Every alien's eyes widened at once. "Oh, stars," someone muttered. "It is true. The predators conquered their planet and enslaved their caretakers." Eli's mouth fell open. "Wait, what? No. That's not—" But the whispering grew louder, filling the exhibit with soft panic. Suddenly the cat stood up. It stretched, turned, and began to walk along the glass edge, tail flicking side to side like a metronome. Every alien froze in place. Eli frowned. "It's just exploring." Dravon raised a trembling hand. "Do not make eye contact!" Eli crossed his arms. "Why not?" "Because," the curator said, his voice dropping low, "that is how it hunts." Eli glanced back at the cat. It was staring right at him, 2 green eyes bright like tiny suns, unblinking. For a long silent moment, boy and cat just watched each other. The crowd held its breath. The air felt colder. The hum of the light seemed louder. Then the cat slowly blinked, once, then twice. Eli smiled. That means it likes me. A faint laugh rippled through the aliens, half nervous, half shocked. Vekar shook his head. Or perhaps it is choosing you. The curator turned to the control console beside the exhibit. Activate the holographic record, he ordered. A beam of light projected from the ceiling, forming a glowing image above them. The hologram showed grainy footage of an alien camp, tents in a jungle. Crates of food, bright lights shining into darkness. Then the camera shook. A shadow darted across the frame. Something leaped onto a crate, small and fast. Two shining eyes appeared in the dark. The sound of tearing metal filled the air, screams echoed. The footage cut out, gasps filled the room. That, Draven said quietly, was the first human animal we ever encountered. It destroyed our food supply and our communication gear. It vanished into the night without a trace. Eli stared at the hologram. You mean it just played with your stuff? Draven frowned. Played? It dismantled advanced equipment. Eli laughed softly. Yeah, that's what cats do. They knock things over for fun. The aliens looked at him in disbelief. Sierra whispered, If this is fun to them, what is war? Eli opened his mouth, then closed it again. He didn't have an answer. The cat yawned again as if bored by all the attention and curled up on the warm glass floor. Professor Vekar sighed in relief. It sleeps. We are safe, but Draven didn't relax. He turned to Eli. You humans live beside these things. And survive? Eli nodded slowly. Yeah, I guess we just got used to them. The curator's eyes darkened. Perhaps. Or perhaps they let you live. Eli's smile faded. For the first time, he didn't feel like laughing. He glanced back at the cat. Its eyes were closed, but its tail was moving again, side to side like it was counting time. Somewhere deep inside, Eli felt a chill crawl up his spine. And though no one noticed, the zoo lights flickered again. The crowd left the Deathworld exhibit in silence. Even after the glass doors sealed shut behind them, most of the alien visitors still looked shaken. They whispered to each other in hushed tones, glancing over their shoulders as if the tiny predators inside might somehow escape. But Eli Carter was still smiling. He walked beside Professor Vekar and the other students, swinging his arms casually. You guys really need to relax, he said. They're just cats. Professor Vekar's eyes blinked twice. Eli, he said quietly, there are things you do not understand about your world. Eli raised an eyebrow. Like what? That cats sleep 18 hours a day? The professor stopped walking and placed one of his 4 hands on the boy's shoulder. His scaled fingers were cool against Eli's shirt. You think your kind rules Earth, he said softly. But the galaxy has heard a different story. The group stopped near a circular viewing platform surrounded by shimmering hollow screens. One by one, the screens flickered to life, showing reports, images, and news footage from dozens of alien research teams. The glowing words across the top read, Earth classified Deathworld Category 5. Eli squinted at the first image. It showed a small alien craft lying broken in the middle of a suburban street. The recording zoomed in, revealing claw marks along the metal hull. What happened there? He asked. Professor Vekar's voice was low. An exploration team from the Vorth Syndicate landed in a quiet human town to study your species. They vanished within an hour. The only recording left was this. The screen changed. It showed a shaky camera feed taken from inside the ship. The sound of scratching filled the air. Then a flash of fur crossed the lens, and when the feed went black, Eli frowned. That could have been anything. Vekar nodded slowly. Indeed. But the next footage left no doubt. The next holoscreen showed a wide, grassy field, littered with alien tents and instruments. The timestamp read, Earth Year 2023. A group of alien scientists stood near a bowl of white liquid. One leaned close, whispering to the others. The audio translator struggled to keep up. Perhaps if we leave an offering, the alien voice said, they may approach peacefully. A small cat entered the frame, orange fur, twitching tail. It sniffed the bowl, took a sip, then stared directly into the camera. Its pupils widened. Its back arched. Then the screen went static. When it cleared again, the camp was empty. Only paw prints remained. The alien students gasped. Some stepped back from the hollow screen. Eli rubbed the back of his neck. Okay, that's kind of weird. Vekar folded his arms. The Vorth scientists called them miniature tigers with psychic focus. They believed the cats were studying them. Not the other way around. Zira, the reptilian girl, whispered. How could something so small destroy a camp? Baker sighed. That is what makes them dangerous. They do not need size. They use patience. Eli laughed nervously. Patience? Come on. Cats are lazy. They chase toys and sleep in windows. The professor's eyes glowed faintly. And yet, every hunter in the galaxy shares one truth. The most dangerous predator is the one that doesn't need to chase. Eli's grin faded. The curator, Dravon, approached from behind, his long coat trailing across the floor. There is more, he said quietly. Follow me. He led them into a darker hall lined with transparent walls. Inside, holograms replayed more clips, each one stranger than the last. In one, a cat was seen walking through a human kitchen at night. It stopped, stared at a glass of water, and gently pushed it off the counter. The aliens around the screen gasped as if watching a crime. Eli facepalmed. They just do that to be annoying. Dravon's eyes narrowed. Or to test gravity, to study cause and effect. Each act seems random yet deliberate. They observe. They record. They learn. He gestured to another screen. Here, watch this. The next clip showed a human family sleeping in their home. A cat sat on the bedpost, its eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Time-lapse footage showed it watching the humans for hours, unmoving. When dawn came, it finally curled beside them, as if claiming ownership. The curator spoke softly. We have seen such behavior only from apex species. It marks territory. It claims dominance. Through trust. Eli swallowed. You're saying cats control us? Dravon nodded. Through affection. Through obedience. You feed them. Clean for them. Protect them, all while believing you are their masters. The alien students nodded in horror. Eli looked down, trying not to laugh. But the longer he thought about it, the more it made sense. His neighbor's cat did make everyone stop what they were doing when it wanted attention. His mom called it the queen of the house. Maybe, he thought, these aliens weren't completely wrong. Still, he crossed his arms and said, even if that's true, they're harmless. Nobody's ever been attacked by a cat and died. Dravon's dark eyes glinted. Not directly. He pointed to another hologram. A human city, ancient, filled with statues. Do you know this civilization? Eli blinked. Irsha, Egypt. Your ancestors built monuments for them, Dravon said. They called them gods. They gave them offerings. They worshipped them for thousands of years. Eli had no answer. The curator stepped closer. And yet you think they are harmless? The lights flickered again. Somewhere in the distance, a faint meow echoed through the halls. It was soft, but every alien froze at once. Eli turned around. That's just one of the cats from the exhibit. Maybe it's hungry. But Dravon's face went pale blue. The enclosures are sealed. It should not be outside. The meow came again. Closer now, Professor Vekar's scales shimmered with fear. Everyone back to the central hall, he ordered. Eli stayed still, staring into the darkness ahead. A shadow moved along the floor, silent, smooth, confident. For a heartbeat, he thought he saw glowing eyes. Then they vanished. The curator whispered, Now you see, young human, why the galaxy fears what you call pets. And for the first time since arriving, Eli Carter didn't laugh. The hall was quiet again, but the air felt colder than before. The faint meow had stopped, yet the sound still echoed inside everyone's mind. Eli Carter walked beside Professor Vekar, his steps slow. The alien students kept whispering behind him, glancing into the dark corners of the zoo's corridors. Even the security drones hovered closer to the ceiling, scanning for movement. Finally, the curator, Dravon, stopped before a wide door made of black glass. The sign above it glowed faintly. Authorized personnel only. This area is not open to the public, Dravon said. But after what you witnessed, you should see the truth for yourself. Vekar hesitated. Keeper, is that wise? Dravon's black eyes flickered. The boy deserves to understand the danger of his own world. Eli frowned. I thought I already did. You said cats are smart, scary, and maybe a little bossy, but they're still just animals. Dravon didn't answer. He pressed his palm against the scanner. The door hissed open. Inside, the room was darker, filled with soft humming machines and rows of glowing containment tanks. Holographic screens floated above each one, showing biological scans, DNA charts, and endless lines of alien text. This, Draven said quietly, is the research wing of the Deathworld exhibit. The light from the tanks reflected off his face, giving him an almost ghostly look. Eli's eyes widened. Inside the tanks floated different forms of cats, some tiny kittens, some huge and wild-looking. Their fur shimmered under the light. Some were sleeping, others watching silently with half-open eyes. Bekar stepped forward slowly. You collected so many of them? Draven nodded. We tried. Each one is different, each one adapts. Eli tilted his head. Adapts how? Draven motioned to one of the tanks. A hologram above it flickered to life, showing an alien soldier wearing heavy armor. This was our first capture, Draven said. We kept it under constant surveillance. Yet every time we entered the chamber, the cat was somewhere else. Never seen moving, just there. Eli frowned. You mean it snuck around when no one was watching? Draven's expression hardened. Not snuck. It moved faster than sensors could detect. It learned to mimic security codes. One morning, the door was open, and the cat was gone. Zira, the small reptilian student, whispered, You mean it escaped? Draven nodded. It came back 2 days later. With kittens, the aliens gasped. Eli blinked. Well, yeah. That's what cats do. Draven shook his head. We checked the DNA. None of the kittens matched the mother. Eli's smile faded. That doesn't make sense. Exactly, the curator said. They multiply faster than we can record. We suspect they can manipulate matter, create offspring through cloning or replication. Bekar's eyes widened. You believe these creatures can alter biology? Draven's voice dropped lower. We don't believe, Professor. We know. He led them toward a sealed chamber at the back of the room. The walls were lined with deep scratches. The door itself had been replaced, its surface warped as if burned by energy. This was our last containment cell, Draven said quietly. The subject within was unlike the others. He touched a control panel. A holographic image appeared. A larger cat, black as night, with eyes that seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. We named it Subject Zero. It showed intelligence beyond our measurements. It understood speech. It watched our scientists and copied them. Eli felt a chill crawl down his spine. Copied them? Draven nodded. Yes, it began mimicking voice patterns, gestures, even control panel commands. It would press buttons just to see what happened. Once it activated a gravity field, and then turned it off when we panicked. Zira gasped. It played with you. The curator's tone darkened. Yes, like a child with a toy. Eli swallowed hard. So what happened to it? Draven stared at the floor. It vanished. Vanished? Bekar repeated. One morning the sensors went blank. The cameras showed nothing. Yet the energy readings spiked across the zoo. When we finally reopened the cell, it was empty. Eli frowned. And you never found it? Draven looked up. No, but sometimes the lights flicker and the scanners pick up a heartbeat that moves through walls. The boy felt goosebumps rise on his arms. He wanted to laugh, to say it was just a ghost story, but something inside told him it wasn't. The curator turned to him. Do you still think your world is harmless, young human? Eli hesitated. I mean, they've never hurt us. Not really. Draven's eyes softened. Maybe because they don't need to. Why destroy what already serves them? Eli looked down, remembering his family's cat, Luna. The way she would sit on the table and stare as if judging him. The way she'd wake him up every morning by stepping on his face. Maybe they didn't need to hurt humans. Maybe they already controlled them in quiet ways. Bekar stepped forward. Keep her, Draven, he said firmly. Surely these are coincidences, superstitions. Draven met his gaze. Superstition does not override data. He walked to the nearest console and tapped a key. The holographic image of Subject Zero appeared again, but this time it moved. It blinked, stretched, and stared directly at the camera. The recording's timestamp was from last night. Eli's breath caught. Wait, that means it's still here. Draven nodded slowly. Yes, somewhere in this facility. The lights flickered once, twice, then a soft purring sound filled the room, deep, rhythmic, echoing from the shadows. Every alien froze, Draven whispered. Do not move. Eli looked around, heart pounding. He saw a shadow slip between the tanks, small, smooth, soundless. Two glowing eyes stared back at him through the darkness. The curator reached for the emergency panel. But before he could touch it, the lights went out completely. In the pitch black, Eli heard it. The soft brush of fur against his leg. The quiet hum of a purr that wasn't supposed to be there. And then, nothing, only silence. Darkness filled the research wing like thick smoke. Every sound seemed louder. The hum of the machines, the slow hiss of the air vents, the shallow breathing of terrified aliens. Eli Carter stood perfectly still. He could hear the low purr moving somewhere close, sliding between the shadows. His heart beat hard in his chest. "Don't move," Drayvon whispered. His voice was calm, but Eli could hear the fear behind it. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then a small, bright light flickered on, Vakar's emergency lantern. It cast a pale blue glow over the room. "Where is it?" Zira whispered, her golden eyes darting from one corner to another. Eli swallowed. "I don't know." The purring stopped. Then, something metallic clinked near the control panels. Everyone turned their heads. A shape moved across the console, soft and fluid. The faint outline of a tail brushed against the glowing buttons. Drayvon's eyes widened. "It's toying with the system," Eli frowned. "What do you mean, toying?" "It's just walking." Vakar's voice trembled. "No, Eli, it's choosing which system to touch. Look." The main control panel lit up, screens flashing warnings in red text. "Security field deactivated." A siren wailed once, then cut off. The lights flickered back on, flooding the room with harsh white light. All the containment tanks were empty. Zira screamed. "They're gone." "All of them!" The alien stumbled back as the sound of small claws echoed through the vents across the walls, even above their heads. Drayvon slammed his hand on the emergency override. "Lockdown sequence now." The system beeped. "Access denied. Impossible," he shouted. "It's overriding the command." Eli stepped closer, his eyes wide. "The cats, they're doing this?" Drayvon looked at him, face pale. "I told you, they learn fast." The purring returned, louder now, echoing through the entire chamber. It wasn't one cat anymore. It was many, dozens, maybe hundreds. The lights flickered again. When they came back, the group was surrounded. Cats, small, calm, silent, sat in perfect rows across the floor, their glowing eyes fixed on the humans and aliens in the center. None of them moved. None of them blinked. Eli's voice shook. "They're not attacking." "No," Drayvon said. "They're watching." Vakar's tail twitched nervously. "For what?" Drayvon's answer came like a whisper. "For our next move." One of the cats, black-furred, sleek, its eyes like polished jade, stepped forward. It stopped a few meters away from Eli and tilted its head. The air felt charged, heavy. Then slowly it lifted one paw and pressed it against the ground twice. Tap, tap. The screens on the walls lit up at the same time. Lines of code scrolled faster than anyone could read. Systems across the zoo began flashing warning signals. Zira gasped. "They're inside the network." Drayvon's jaw tightened. "They've taken full control of the facility." Eli blinked. "Wait, you're telling me cats are hacking the zoo?" Vakar shot him a look. "You think this is funny?" Eli raised his hands. "No, how is this even possible?" Drayvon replied grimly. "We thought we were studying them, but it seems they've been studying us." The black cat began walking toward Eli. Each step echoed softly. The others followed, spreading out in a silent wave. Zira whimpered. "They're closing in." Drayvon reached for his weapon and a compact plasma baton, but Vakar stopped him. "Don't," he said. "You'll only make it worse." Drayvon's eyes flickered. "They can't understand." Before he finished, the cat stopped at Eli's feet and sat down. It looked up at him and meowed softly, one single sound that somehow filled the room. Every machine in the chamber powered down at once. Lights dimmed. Alarms silenced. Doors sealed. The entire zoo fell quiet. Eli crouched slowly, meeting the cat's gaze. "Hey there, buddy," he said quietly. "You did all that, didn't you?" The cat blinked once, then rubbed its head against his knee. The other cats began to move again, not in panic, not in aggression, but with eerie calm. They climbed onto consoles, control desks, security drones, and power modules. Within minutes, every piece of equipment had a cat sitting or lying on it. Drayvon whispered, "They've occupied the entire system." Eli looked around. "They're playing?" "No," the curator said. "They're claiming. A soft chime echoed through the room. The central screen glowed brighter than before, displaying a single message in galactic common. Exhibit expanded. New environment controlled. Vikar's voice broke the silence. What does that mean? Draven stared at the screen. It means they have extended their influence. They now control the whole zoo. Eli's mouth went dry. All of it. Yes, Draven said. Every door, every camera, every system. The zoo is theirs now. The lights shifted from white to a soft golden hue. The cats purred in unison on a sound so deep it vibrated through the floor. The curator stepped back, his voice shaking. This is no longer a containment breach. This is a takeover. Eli stood still as the black cat climbed onto his shoulder, curling comfortably around his neck. It purred loudly, its tail brushing against his ear. Draven looked horrified. It's choosing you again. Choosing me? Eli said. What for? Vikar whispered. Perhaps as their representative. Eli blinked. Representative? I'm 12. The cat's tail flicked once. The screen changed again, showing a single line of text. Human understands, human stays. The curator's voice trembled. They're communicating. Eli looked around. What does it mean, human stays? Draven took a slow breath. It means they've accepted you. The cat purred louder, closing its eyes as if satisfied. Around the room, the others began to lie down one by one, curling into soft balls of fur, until the entire chamber looked peaceful again, as if nothing had ever happened. But the screens told a different story. One by one, new lines of text appeared. Exhibit updated. Visitors locked in. Zookeepers observed. Eli's stomach turned cold. He looked up at Draven. What happens now? Draven didn't answer. He only whispered, now, we wait to see what the cats decide. The zoo had gone quiet. Too quiet. Eli Carter stood in the center of the control room, his shoulders tense. The black cat still perched calmly on his neck. Every monitor glowed with the same soft golden light. The words across each screen flickered like a heartbeat. Exhibit stable. Observation in progress. The alien staff whispered among themselves, their voices trembling. Outside the glass walls, the other creatures of the zoo, giant reptiles, insect swarms, floating jellyfish, sat in complete stillness, as though time itself had stopped. They've done something to the systems, Professor Vikar muttered. His scaled fingers moved over the console, trying to override the controls. But every command was rejected. Access denied. Priority lock, feline protocol active. Draven paced the floor, his long coat brushing against the cold tiles. They've infected every circuit. The zoo is under their control now. Eli turned slowly. You mean they're running everything? Draven nodded grimly. Lights, doors, gravity, everything. They've silenced every alarm. No one outside knows what's happening. Eli frowned. Then we're trapped. The black cat purred softly, its green eyes half closed. In the next room, Zira pressed her face to the glass wall, staring out into the zoo's main courtyard. Her golden eyes widened. They're everywhere, she whispered. The others rushed to join her. Across the wide-open walkways, cats now sat in small groups, on railings, benches, and control panels. Some were grooming themselves. Some were watching the alien visitors with calm, steady eyes. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, and not one sound, no growls, no movement, no chaos. Just quiet, organized. Waiting, Professor Vikar whispered. I've studied hive species before. They always have a leader, a queen, but this, he trailed off. This feels different, smarter. Eli scratched the back of his neck nervously. Cats don't have queens. They just do whatever they want. Draven turned to him, and yet somehow they all act as one. A deep hum echoed through the building. The overhead lights dimmed, replaced by a soft orange glow. A mechanical voice spoke through the speakers, distorted but calm. Welcome, visitors, to the new management. Every alien froze. Eli blinked. Did that voice just— Yes, Draven said quietly. That was the central AI. The cats are using it. The voice continued. The Galactic Zoo is now a sanctuary. Movement will be limited. Harm to any species will not be tolerated. You are safe, as long as you remain still. Then, silence again. Zira trembled. It's speaking for them. The cats are using the system to talk. Eli looked around the room. They're not hurting anyone. Maybe they just want peace. Draven gave him a sharp look. Peace? They've taken control of a facility holding thousands of deadly species. Eli shrugged slightly. Well, no one's dying. That's kind of peaceful, isn't it? The black cat jumped off Eli's shoulder and walked toward the door. The sensors recognized it instantly. The sealed gate slid open with a hiss. Draven gasped. The system obeys them. Eli followed the cat into the hallway. Hey, wait! The others hurried after him. The corridors were quiet, but every few meters another cat appeared, sitting beside a security panel, watching as they passed. The moment the humans and aliens stepped near, doors opened automatically. They're guiding us, Vekar said in disbelief. To where? Zira asked. No one answered. They entered the central dome of the zoo, a massive open area surrounded by transparent walls showing the alien landscape outside. Normally it would be filled with tourists, drones, and noise. Now it was silent except for the low, steady hum of machines. In the middle of the floor sat hundreds of cats in perfect circles, facing outward like guards. Eli stopped. Whoa. The black cat walked ahead, stepping calmly between them. The others parted to let it pass. It climbed up a short platform and sat in front of a large holographic console. The screen lit up. A new message appeared. Exhibit updated, species human observed. Eli blinked. Observed? Wait, they mean me? Draven nodded slowly. You are the only human here. They've shifted focus from themselves to you. The holographic text changed again. Human companion. Companion, safe. The aliens watched in awe. Zira whispered, They're protecting him. Draven's face tightened. No, they're keeping him. Like we kept them. Eli stared at the words. They're making me part of the exhibit. Before anyone could react, the zoo trembled. A loud thud echoed from above. The ceiling panels cracked open, revealing the glow of ships descending from the sky. Draven's communicator beeped. It's the Galactic Council, he said. They've sent security forces. The cats turned their heads upward as one. Not a single sound came from them. The black cat raised its tail and every light in the zoo went red. Sirens blared. The entire facility locked down again. Draven's face went pale. They're preparing for defense. The council's ships hovered outside, sending warnings through loudspeakers. This is Galactic Command. Release the zoo systems immediately or we will use force. The AI's voice responded calmly through every speaker. Denied. The sanctuary is under feline supervision. Interference will be punished. For a moment, the world outside was still. Then the council ships began charging their weapons. Eli shouted, No! Stop, you'll hurt them! The black cat turned toward him, eyes glowing bright green. Draven whispered, It's waiting for your command. Eli hesitated. You want me to tell them what to do? The cat blinked once. The words appeared on the screen again. Human cut command priority. Eli took a deep breath. Okay, he said quietly. Let them go. Don't hurt anyone. The lights flickered, then turned soft and white. Outside, the council ships powered down. Their weapons cooled. The command channel filled with static, then silence. Draven stared in disbelief. They listened to you. The black cat purred, curling around Eli's feet. Zira whispered, What are they waiting for now? Eli looked up at the glowing words on the screen. A new message was forming, letter by letter. Next stage, expansion. Draven frowned. Expansion to where? Eli's eyes followed the text as it continued to appear. Target galaxy. A chill ran through the room. The black cat looked up, eyes shining brighter than before. The other cats raised their heads in perfect unison. Outside, the sky darkened as the zoo's satellites turned and aligned. Eli whispered, They're not stopping here. Draven answered softly. No, the galaxy just became their playground, and above them the stars began to blink, one by one. The morning after the blackout felt wrong. Too still, too calm. Eli Carter woke on the floor of the control room. His head throbbed and the hum of machines had changed. Slower, steady, almost like breathing. The lights glowed a warm amber, soft instead of cold white. Professor Vekar was already awake, staring at the monitors. Every screen showed the same message in gold letters. All systems stable. Sanctuary mode active. Draven stood near the doorway, motionless. His pale blue hands were clasped tight behind his back. They've done it, he whispered. The zoo isn't ours anymore. Eli rubbed his eyes. You mean the cats? Vakar nodded slowly. They rewrote the command route. The central AI answers only to them now. Eli tried to laugh, but the sound died in his throat. So we work for cats? Draven didn't smile. No. We exist at their mercy. Outside the window, the zoo's open domes shimmered in the alien sunlight. From above, it looked peaceful. Visitors' ships still circled the sky, unaware of the change inside. Yet down below, every creature, beast, insect, or bird stood perfectly still, staring at something unseen. Zira pressed her scaly palms to the glass. They're listening, she said quietly. All of them, Eli frowned. Listening to what? Vakar's voice dropped low. To the cats. The moment he said it, a soft vibration moved through the floor. The consoles blinked. Doors slid open by themselves, and from the corridors came the sound of padded footsteps. One by one, the cats returned. Hundreds of them. They padded into the control room with silent grace, tails high, eyes glowing in the amber light. They didn't hiss or growl. They simply spread out, on desks, screens, and seats, like they owned the place. Eli whispered, "Guess they're taking a nap shift." Draven shot him a cold look. They are claiming territory. The black cat, the same one that had followed Eli since the chaos, leapt onto the main console. It sat upright, tail curling around its paws. The entire system recognized its presence. User identity, primary. Authority, feline node, 0. Draven's throat tightened. That's our master password line. Eli stepped forward carefully. Hey, buddy. What's the plan now? The cat blinked once, then twice. The speakers crackled to life with the same calm, synthetic voice as before. Sanctuary conditions remain secure. Harm is forbidden. Observation continues. Vakar looked around. Observation of what? The voice replied, of everything. The lights dimmed again. Outside, the massive glass walls shifted from transparent to opaque. The entire zoo became a sealed dome of soft gold light. Draven slammed a fist on the console. Release the guests. You can't trap living beings here. The AI's tone didn't change. Containment ensures safety. Interference will be discouraged. At that word, every cat in the room turned its head toward him in perfect unison. Hundreds of glowing eyes locked on the curator. Draven froze, his voice dropping to a whisper. Discouraged? Understood. Eli felt sweat bead on his forehead. They just gave you the death stare. Minutes passed. The cats began to move again, spreading through corridors and halls.